Now, a senior Afghan delegation is in Doha to meet representatives of the Taliban as violence continues to escalate in Afghanistan. The armed group has been taking advantage of the US withdrawal, launching offensives and capturing large parts of the country. The two sides have been meeting on and off now for months, but the talks have lost momentum as the fighting continues to rage back home. The Afghan government delegation says negotiations are the only way forward.
The delegation of Afghanistan, headed by the chairman of the Reconciliation Committee, has arrived in the Qatari capital, Doha, and is meeting with the delegation of negotiations affiliated with the government. During his visit, Abdullah will discuss important and crucial issues with Taliban representatives. The solution to the conflict in Afghanistan lies in negotiations, and peace can be reached through dialogue if these talks lead to satisfactory results for both parties.
The
Taliban movement has repeatedly confirmed its readiness for dialogue and negotiations. The problems can only be solved by dialogue. But the Afghan government needs to also show the same commitment. They need to show the right and sincere determination when it comes to negotiations in order to end these problems.
Well, shortly we'll be speaking to Charlotte Bellis. She's in the Afghan capital, Kabul. But first, let's speak to Osama bin Javed. He's following those talks for us here in Doha. Osama, as we've been saying, there have been several rounds of talks here. Is anything concrete likely to come out of these discussions?
Well, it depends on who you speak to. You've heard from both sides saying that dialogue is the only way forward, and they believe that a solution for a peaceful Afghanistan can only come from the table. But actions on the ground speak a very different language. We've been seeing on the ground how Taliban have been taking large swathes of Afghanistan, and we've been seeing sort of a not moving forward from the Afghan government side as well. Dr. Abdullah's team, I've been speaking to some of them, have been telling me that they are hopeful that this is going to be fruitful. They are going to have some sort of solution to how to go forward, because what they don't want is a Taliban takeover of the whole country, or the country going towards the civil war, which everyone has been talking about. But on the Taliban side, they say that they believe in dialogue, but you've seen their actions on the ground as well. So this high-level delegation, 7 members, are in talks right now as we speak in the Qatari capital, trying to sort out what are the ways where they can move forward, which we haven't seen so far. Since September, when they started speaking to each other, there have been major differences. The Taliban saying that they want to achieve peace, but they have been battling on the ground. The government saying that it wants to move forward, but not giving what the Taliban wanted. And that seems to have persisted. So there isn't much hope that there is going to be a concrete solution coming out of this meeting, but at least it is something to go forward with. And that is something where the Taliban has been saying that they've been expecting leaders of this stature come to Doha and negotiate with each other, and questions that observers have been raising about the significance of these talks as Taliban is taking more areas, whether the government has had a realization that it is now to probably change tactics and try and go towards a solution which does not mean further loss of life in Afghanistan.
Osama, you mentioned there the stature of the people at these talks. Can you talk us through the significance of this round of negotiations, especially given the high-level delegations involved this time?
Well, we've been hearing for almost a week now how this high-level delegation was being formed. We were hearing names of Gulbuddin Hikmatyar, former President Hamid Karzai, who were supposed to be here in Doha, and many of them did not pulled out of these talks. So there is a sense of divisions within Kabul on what is the way forward. There is a lack of trust, not just between the Afghan government but also and Taliban, but also within the ranks of people who rule Afghanistan. And that is something that the Taliban has been insisting on. What they want to see is an inclusive government, something that President Ghani's government has said can only come on the negotiating table, not as a demand from the Taliban, and also from the government side, talking about a comprehensive ceasefire, which so far the Taliban has not budged on. So it is a high-level delegation. These are members of various segments of Afghan society, including their high peace negotiator, the president, the chairman of the High Peace Council, as well as other leaders who are in here trying to mend fences, trying to move forward. But the situation on the ground, while these talks have continued in Doha, has deteriorated further.
Osama bin Javed there with all the latest from those talks in Doha. Thank you so much, Osama. Well, now Charlotte Bellis reports from the Afghan capital, Kabul, on the growing pressure there for a diplomatic solution.